Before we get started, Valentine's 12 days out, and I want to suggest a gift, not just for your romantic partner, but for all those that you love and care about in your life around you. A gift that says descriptively, I believe in you. That gift would be gifting them a copy of Unbreakable Soul. I can promise you, Missy's heart in this book will touch and positively impact others. And they will always remember it was you who gave it to them. When you send or hand it to them, you can say, I believe in you. I believe in your resilience. I believe in your heart. I believe in your unbreakable soul. You'll find the link below. You can send the book or this beautiful golden box set while we still have copies left. Think about members of your family or your friend circle or members of your church or teammates that you work with or neighbors or vendors or clients or gym friends or your favorite coffee house and barista or other restaurant staff, babysitters, nannies, housekeepers, etc. I promise you'll enjoy the soulful reward of knowing you will be positively impacting the life and future of another. You have to order it right away to ensure that you get them before Valentine's Day. Okay, on to today's Darren Daily. I have a question for you. Should the entertainment industry be subject to censorship? We've been debating that issue for 100 plus years. In fact, back in 1908, there was one fellow who got so fed up with, well, the smut on stage and the lewdness in print that he wrote an article for the prestigious 19th Century magazine. He sternly advocated for the censorship of all fiction in general. Contemporary fiction authors, he wrote, have abused their freedom of speech. And when a fiction writer neglects his moral responsibility to his readers, then the guardians of public morality must get involved, he said. This self-appointed guardian believed moral decay in literature doesn't happen suddenly. It creeps in by degrees, his article warned. So censorship must be continuous and rigid. His demands were clear. There must be no beginnings of evil. Now, this next part you're not going to like. But remember, I'm only quoting this 1908 magazine article. Of those with base appetites, those who yearn for the decadent, women are the worst offenders of this breach of moral law, he wrote. He continued, what use is it to guard against evil in one form while in another it is free to act? In all things which suggestion plays a part, there is a possible element of evil, end quote. His conclusion was absolute. Quote, a close analysis will show that the only emotions which in the long run harm are those arising from sex impulses, end quote. I should mention that the article named no specific transgressing writers, deliberately depriving them of the quote advertisement which they crave, he said. They were merely contemptuously referring throughout as the they. They found an art wholesome and made it morbid. They found it pure and left it sullied. They, in their selfish greed, tried to deprave where others had striven to elevate. In the language of the pulpit, they have crucified Christ afresh, he said. He called it the war between God and the devil. All right. But if hearing all that leaves you applauding, there's something else that you ought to know. That spiritual war of which this opinionated writer spoke, it was going on in his own secret life. Publicly, he was a devoted husband, a loving father, a respected businessman. Privately, he was a corrupt, carousing degenerate, destined to die in his 60s of syphilis. And one more thing, that self-conceived moralist who so righteously promoted literary censorship, that fellow who was so concerned with evil in suggestion and sex impulses, was the same man who spilled from his own red pen the epitome of all that he claimed to despise. You see, he was Bram Stoker, creator of the most evil, the most suggestive, the sexiest storybook villain of that era, Dracula. Isn't that interesting? So what important life, societal, and people lessons can we draw from this stunning revelation? First, beware of the finger-pointing, people. It often hides a mirror. Bram Stoker wrote an entire article preaching about sexual impurity, moral corruption, and the need for censorship. Yet he himself was writing the most darkly seductive, psychologically charged tale of his time. Those who would shout the loudest about evil are often the ones who wrestle with it the most privately. So before you judge somebody else's business, life, or choices, ask yourself, am I projecting something I haven't yet owned in myself? Leaders, achievers, and high achievers, own your stuff. It builds trust, authenticity, and integrity. Second, censorship kills growth. It's curiosity that fuels it. Stoker feared suggestive fiction would corrupt the culture, but what did he do when left ungoverned? He wrote Dracula, a book and character that has gone on to reshape the zeitgeist. It turns out the very thing he feared was the thing that set his genius free. Fear leads to suppression. Suppression strangles greatness. So leaders, achievers, and high achievers, you must be willing to explore the uncomfortable, push boundaries, sit with tension, ask hard questions. That's where breakthrough ideas live. And then the third lesson we can draw is your shadow could be your fuel if you use it right. Stoker's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde life was real. He was publicly moral, privately broken. But he channeled that inner turmoil into something timeless. Your darkness doesn't disqualify you. It defines you if you face it head on. And here's a fourth one. Please, God, don't preach what you haven't practiced. Stoker's real crime wasn't Dracula. It was preaching purity while secretly indulging vice. The world doesn't need more moralizers. It needs more models. Want to lead? Don't dictate the rules. Demonstrate the discipline. Your influence comes from your congruence. So take out your Darren Daily Journal and reflect on these questions. Ask yourself, number one, where in my life am I condemning what I secretly crave or fear? Number two, what shadow part of me, if embraced, could unlock my next creative breakthrough? And number three, what part of me have I been trying to censor that might actually be a source of my strength? Then share your answers to this final question in the comments below. What hidden part of myself am I ready to stop judging in others and start using for myself? Remember, the parts of us that we're most ashamed of are often the ones capable of greatness. Own them, wield them, and write your own Dracula masterpiece.